I don't even know what's in Spam, but it's actually kind of good. Cats are for YouTube, not for lunch. There's some words that I can't say. Put clothes on now.
Hanger.
I'm going to say that exact word, but they laugh at me when I say it. A hanger.
Yeah, you don't pronounce your G's.
A hanger.
And you always say Google Hangout.
It is a hangout.
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 Hangout. I'm saying it the same way you're saying it.
You're not pronouncing the G. Hangout.
The letter G. Ain't nobody got time for that. Hello, adventurer. So you know the only thing worse than a troll is a spammer. Well, I want to help you be a superhero fighting spammers and Hulk smash them. But the first thing is to make sure that you're not being a spammer. Sometimes I will say don't be a spammer and people are like, amen, preach it. They actually don't say that. Spam a lot of times is when you're doing things in mass and it doesn't take the other person into consideration. So if you spell spam backwards, it spells mass, just with a P. You know, sometimes I'll get things on Facebook and I'm just like, does this person not even know? I got a message the other day that was talking about the company that I work with, but it was asking me if I wanted to be involved in, like, did I know about this company? And I'm like, I'm the chief adventure officer. And what happened is like, yeah, they're just mass sending it to everybody on their list. And what that person did is just, they ruined any credibility that they would have with me forever. Or I get a message and my name is completely misspelled. So a lot of times it's like, well, why wouldn't you actually take a little bit of time to be thoughtful that that person cares? It's because the mindset is, if I just message 100 people, then I'm bound to get somebody. And you know what? That might be true. You might get somebody, but who are you actually getting? And so maybe what we should do is actually spend a little more time with less people and be more thoughtful, and then do that consistently. Remember, we don't live in the information age, we live in the editorial age. That knowledge is no longer power, it's the relationships are the power. That your net worth is actually the sum of your network, that your friends, those relationships. And so that is about editorial, that people don't want information, they want a relationship to put information in context. You earn that influence. And when we talk about influence, the influence is because that you are earning trust. And the number one thing that will hurt that trust and your influence is integrity. And the integrity of spamming or not being thoughtful and just mass being this used car salesman that you're just kind of almost desperate throwing your post out there, that actually reduces your influence. I had a friend the other day, and he was telling me that he made this huge mistake and he was trying to be thoughtful, but it backfired on him. He was at the mall and he had his wife and his daughter was there and they were just kind of all going out to eat. And later he messaged and said, hey, he wanted to message his wife and say, hey, that was a great time. Can't wait, you know, next time let's have just us go and have this date. And then he wanted to message his daughter and say, hey, I had a great time with you. I want to get some daddy-daughter time. And so what he thought was, I'll write the message and then I'll send that message to both of them. Well, the problem is he didn't realize that that group text, that the other person saw that. And so when they both got a message that says, you know, next time I just want it to be you, that actually is not thoughtful because they saw that it was the other person. And when you can't say that you are so special, I love you, and you mass text that, you're spamming. And so sometimes if you're not careful, you don't realize that when it says, hey, buy these followers or use this program that auto sends a response and do that, that's what you're doing. Relationally, you're actually reducing your influence. And you know what? You can do it the wrong way. The reason they send Nigerian bank scams is because you send it to enough people, there's gonna be somebody that does it. But that's probably not somebody that you want on your core team. That's probably not somebody that you wanna help put your destiny and your future on the line with. So make sure that you're not contributing to this anti-thoughtfulness of spam. But there are some ways that you can use to prevent spam. And so one of those ways, for example, is on Facebook. I want to give you some actual examples. Is, let's say that you want to message people. Well, you know what? Facebook will actually put things in place that will stop you from being able to do that. I remember I had a Kickstarter project. I want everybody to know about it. So it's like I'm messaging. And at some point, you're going to get the window pop up that you are being flagged for spamming. Because what would have been better is, instead of being kind of like desperate and at the last minute and just hitting everybody, is I would say, wait, who would really actually like this project? Who would think this would be funny? And then maybe send them a message that's a little bit more customized to them. There's people that you're Facebook friends that you haven't talked to for years and years. The last thing you want to do is say, hey, here's this thing that I think you would really like. How about saying hello first? You know, because that is considered spammy to do that. And we hate spammers. Even when you're doing like friend requests. Why would you just go and just randomly friend request? Even on LinkedIn, other things, you can leave a message. I would rather do a friend request and say, hey, I know you from this person. We have this mutual friend, and you can create maybe a request that way. For example, on Twitter, I generally, if somebody doesn't have a profile picture, I'm not going to click on them. It doesn't have to be of them, it's just of something that, because these automated things that can create hundreds of different accounts really fast, and then you can buy those followers or whatever, they're not taking time to do profile pictures. Make sure that you yourself have profile pic. Be careful. I think sometimes it's like, oh, this person followed me and I follow them right back. You got to be careful with that. Take just the extra couple of seconds and look at that and say, hey, how would I know that person? You build your influence like you build your integrity. It only takes one thing to tear it down, but it takes a while, just time and time being consistent. So go a little bit slower, because then you can go a little bit faster down the road. I've told you before in the Instagram episodes, like, don't use more than 2 or 3 hashtags. When I see 20 hashtags, I'm saying that person's desperate. They're not thoughtful. All they're wanting to do is like, I have to do that because so somebody can find me, instead of them being thoughtful. In fact, now when you use that many hashtags, it's been proven that it actually reduces your influence. But what you're really doing is it's almost like putting bait in the water for spammers. When you do that, like, they're gonna go and follow those things. Like when you put follow for follow, it's like, oh, so then I can get a spammer account. And so, yeah, you might get some more followers, but you're not getting engagement. You're not getting interaction. There are more thoughtful, better ways to reach out to people. And doing those ways, or buying followers, when you're buying followers, all you're really doing is you're getting a bunch of spam accounts that you're basically inviting a bunch of spammers and trolls into your world. And just because you have a lot of followers doesn't mean that anybody actually does anything. Remember, influence is not popularity. Influence is causing other people to take actions, and they do that because they trust you. Being a spammer is the opposite thing from that. Because social media is collaborative and the web is collaborative, it's important that you take those few extra minutes that when somebody follows you, or they're saying nice pic, but all they're doing is that's a spam account and it's easy followers 473 or whatever it is, or because that account got shut down so they did another one. It's important for you to make sure that you're blocking those people as well as you're reporting them, because together we make this world a better place. We make social media better when we are blocking those things. We've covered that in all our episodes. If you go into Adventure Support, they will put an article in there to just review what episodes we covered that, if you ever want to go back and learn how to do that. You know, spamming people, that might be a strategy and it might work here and there, but it will slowly, as the web evolves and social media improves, it will be harder and harder for those people to exist, as well as it actually reduces your influence. Who wants to get 10 new customers or 10 people wanting to be part of your adventure when 9 of them leave? I'd rather get 2 or 3 that want to be on this adventure long term. Remember, the opposite of spam is thoughtfulness, and thoughtfulness is what changes the world. Thoughtfulness is what sparks innovation. Thoughtfulness is what incites adventure, and your adventure begins right now.